City News starts now.
You're looking live at Appalachian Mountain Ski Resort in Blowing Rock. That area is expected to get several fresh inches of snowfall as part of a system hitting the Carolinas. It's coming along with some bitterly cold temperatures this weekend. Thanks for joining us after college basketball. I'm Caroline Boyer with Chief Meteorologist Tara Lane. Tara, a winter weather warning is now in effect for much of our area.
Yes, it is. Winter storm warning. We've got extreme cold warnings in effect for a good part of our area as well. So yes, we've got the cold, we've got snow, and that's the type of weekend it is going to be. We don't have a whole lot of snow out there right now, but there have been reports of a little bit of at least light snow or some flurries flying over parts of South Carolina, anywhere from around Ballantyne to heading up into southern Mecklenburg County. You can see just a little bit of that light snow still showing up on radar and moving in from, say, the Rock Hill and Fort Mill zone. So just a sign of things to come here. Obviously not too much out there though yet, and we're seeing some of that snow flying still around the Boone area and heading up towards ski country like Apsky Mountain and down into northern parts of Avery County. They've had some lightly accumulating snow so far across parts of the northern tier of the state, and look at all of that moisture that is yet to come on in from the north and west and developing as our coastal area of low pressure continues to develop. So snow chances will be on the rise as we get, especially into early tomorrow morning. Once we move past, say, 4 or 5 o'clock or so in the morning, they will really be ramping up. Here's a look at what future radar looks like here by 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Still, the majority of the snow will be more west of the I-77 corridor, so a bit delayed in the arrival and development of more of this widespread snowfall. So if you're not waking up to snow early in the morning, say out toward Anson, Richmond County, points east, Stanley County maybe, don't worry, it will be here by the afternoon. 9 a.m. we have more of that just continuing to blossom across the area. So more snow developing late tonight through tomorrow morning, pretty much lasting all the afternoon long before it tapers off late tomorrow evening, ending before daybreak on Sunday though. So it's really just Saturday snow that we're talking about, but making for the slippery travel, hazardous road conditions. But due to the light and fluffy nature of the snow, at least we have that low risk of widespread power outages. So one piece of good news there. So coming up in my pinpoint weather forecast, a closer look at those specific numbers, how much of that snowy accumulation we could see.
And you can stay up to date on the winter storm track and the conditions in your neighborhood by using the Pinpoint Weather app. It's free to download in the Apple App Store and on Google Play. Another weekend, another winter storm, but this one's going to be different. As Tara mentioned, instead of ice, we're looking ahead to snow and very cold conditions. David Schumann is in the Queen City News conference room with steps you can take to get your home ready. David?
Caroline, frozen pipes are going to be a concern with these temperatures, so a couple easy things you can do. Let those faucets drip, and then you can open up the cabinet doors underneath to allow warm air to circulate. For outside, faucet covers are helpful, can be a good idea, but honestly at this point they might be a little difficult to find.
People were lined up and we sold out of snow shovels in about an hour.
Jim Wilkerson says his Black Hawk Hardware in Charlotte has been out of nearly everything people need to prepare for this weekend. He says the supply chains are all thrown off with this second big storm in a week.
Ice melt for one thing. I mean, I think everybody is pretty much out of it. You know, it's discouraging because you want to be there for people.
Shipments have trickled in. There were still flashlights available Friday, propane, sand, and scrapers. Better late than never for that.
It was really icy, but I didn't get out a whole bunch, but I know I may have to dig out this time.
The Charlotte Department of Transportation crews are committed to the dig out.
We will be on 24 hours a day until our routes are substantially clear.
Mecklenburg County officials declared a state of emergency, which includes adding to the capacity of homeless shelters. Officials expect the demand to spike like it did last weekend, but they say many people still haven't left the shelters because it's been so cold.
We're continuing to monitor the capacity and the demand for services, and that's always a balancing act, even when it's 70 degrees out. But we know with the expanded capacity, we are really looking to serve anyone who wants shelter.
So lots of people are preparing best they can, including those among us who don't get to stay home.
We love what we do. It's very rare when you run into a public servant that does not absolutely love taking care of our public.
City leaders also mentioned 911 is there for emergencies, of course, but 311 is for issues like frozen pipes, downed trees, and questions about resources. Live in the Queen City News conference room, David Schumann, Queen City News.
Thanks, David. The Charlotte Hornets are moving up. Game time for tomorrow at the Spectrum Center. The team will host the San Antonio Spurs. Tip-off was originally scheduled for noon, but now it is moved up to 3 tomorrow afternoon. NBA and team officials have moved up that start time because of the impending weather and the desire to make sure fans are safe. South Carolina investigators are looking into a deadly shooting involving a York County deputy. It happened this morning at a home near Regent Parkway and U.S. Highway 21 in Fort Mill. Deputies confronted a suspect who was barricaded inside a room with a knife. When they asked the suspect to come out, the person opened the door and charged at a deputy. That deputy fired, killing the suspect. No one else was hurt. The deputy is now on administrative leave.
Some of you have seen some snowflakes flying around parts of the area, but by this time tomorrow, we're going to be talking about that snow that will have fallen pretty much everywhere with those winter storm warnings in effect, extreme cold warnings in effect for a good part of our area too. Just how much of that snowy accumulation you can see where you live and how much colder it's going to get throughout the weekend. That's next. You're watching Queen City News, the most honored and the most local news in Charlotte. We'll be right back. All right, the winter storm is coming. There's not a whole lot out there right now as we look around on radar. We have, though, seen and heard about some reports of maybe a little bit of light snow or at least some flurries down across sections of, say, southern Mecklenburg County, Ballantyne area, parts of South Charlotte, and heading in from sections of South Carolina, all of that lifting to the north and east, and just a little more snow that continues to fly around from time to time up in the highest elevations of the mountains. And you can see all this moisture that is yet to come, and eventually we'll see more of that snow filling in the gaps that are being seen right now on radar with still mostly dry conditions out there. Notice the snow chances really ramping up, especially once we move past, say, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. By 10 a.m., almost guaranteed to see that snow, at least across the Charlotte metro. I'll show you future radar coming up. So more snow will continue to develop over parts of the area, especially mountains and foothills while we're sleeping tonight, and filling in a little more into tomorrow morning, pretty much lasting all throughout the afternoon and at least early evening tomorrow before starting to move out as early as, late tomorrow night and before daybreak on Sunday. It's back to sunshine for Sunday afternoon and second half of the weekend. But all this snow, this light fluffy snow, it's going to pile up pretty quickly with the cold temperatures in place and creating those hazardous road conditions all throughout the weekend as temperatures stay at or below freezing. And the low power outage risk, that's one piece of good news too, because it's not the heavy wet snow that could weigh down those power lines and the tree limbs a little bit more. Winter storm warning in effect through early Sunday. Temperatures right now, we are right at freezing in the Queen City with an east-northeast wind at 10. We've got upper teens to around 20 up in the mountains and a string of upper 20s up there along the I-40 corridor. So this low pressure in development out along the coast will continue to wrap in some of that moisture throughout the day on Saturday. Let's check things out. 6 a.m. Here we go. Still some breaks in the snow, so it's not going to be snowing maybe everywhere, depending on what time you wake up early tomorrow morning. But by 9, 10, 11 o'clock, you can see how the snow covers pretty much the entire map, especially as we take it out into the afternoon. But already by, say, 10 o'clock or so, it's starting to kind of taper off up across the mountains and foothills, and there's the back edge of that widespread shield of snow that's going to be moving out back to sunshine with the clouds hanging on a little bit longer in the mountains, but back to sunshine everywhere else for the second half of the weekend. So how much snow are we talking? Overall, still thinking upwards of 4 to 8 inches, but just know, and especially around the Charlotte metro down to parts of South Carolina, some isolated higher amounts will be possible, even higher than, say, 8 inches of snow. We could see some of those higher totals up across the mountains and areas east of Charlotte as well. Temperatures, another big part of the weather story here, and that's why we have that pinpoint weather alert going for Sunday. We're going to hover in the 20s for tomorrow, 32 for a high on Sunday, but you factor that in with the wind. It's going to be getting gusty. In fact, starting tomorrow, making for those sub-zero wind chills. Temperatures with that extreme cold warning in effect, and just keep this in mind too if you're out and about trying to do some sledding tomorrow and all that pretty snow. It's going to feel like it's in the single digits and teens through tomorrow afternoon with any sort of breeze picking up, and by early Sunday morning, this is dangerous cold that we're talking about, 20 plus degrees below zero for those feels like temperatures. And again, not much melting taking place early next week. We'll have some of that happening a little bit during the day on Monday, but back in the teens for early Tuesday, we could see another chance of a rain-snow mix by the middle of next week. We'll be right back.
to do a clarification. The Charlotte Hornets are moving up game time for tomorrow at the Spectrum Center. The team will host the San Antonio Spurs. Tip-off was originally scheduled for 3 tomorrow afternoon. NBA and team officials have moved that start time up to noon because of the impending weather and the desire to make sure fans are safe. No, that is not our producer's stomach growling, though it is. That's one of the competitors in a deer calling contest in Germany. Men and women came out in their traditional hunting outfits to show off their unique calls of the wild. The instruments they use are specially made of things like ox horns, snail shells, and glass cylinders. The deer calling practice dates back hundreds of years. You're watching Queen City News, the most honored and the most local news in Charlotte. We'll be right back with a final check of your pinpoint forecast, followed by Carolina Sports Live.
We're going to continue to see that snow filling in later on tonight and especially tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon. Just a snowy Saturday, up to 4 to 8 inches. However, we could get some locally higher amounts possible, especially around the Charlotte metro. So a snowy Saturday, then cold for Sunday.
Everyone stay safe. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Carolina Sports Live is next.